this is not going to be an exciting car, but it feels good. It feels like a premium experience compared to the others. And we'll talk about how it drives and all of that. The point is, it's drawing this balance where it's giving you, let's say, the well-built feel on the inside of the Aura, but it's done the Honda way, so it feels even more well-made. The longevity aspect feels good. It feels even more premium, honestly, because of the steering and the instrument cluster and all of that.
Sure.
But it's also Honda in the way that if you look at the equipment, they have this 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system. And it's that same old Honda stuff, right? Aftermarket. It feels aftermarket straight up. It's got wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay connectivity. It worked fine on one car, and on the other car it got stuck. But the wired system worked. Responsiveness is fine. But when you're using the native menus of that, it just feels like, oh my God, ye kahan se aaya? Like, where is this from, right? It just feels old. The sound system, 6-speaker setup, but does it feel impressive? No, it doesn't. Right?
So you're not amazed by it?
You're not amazed by it for sure. Those are the aspects which are so Honda and are so boring in today's day and age. So is Honda trying to do things differently? You can see that they are, but they're doing it in their own way. So this is the first car that they've been touting. So this is like, okay, now there are two things that we'll talk about. One is the features that are used to create interest, to get your attention, are more often than not marketing, right? They're not actually a value that you will experience and unlock on a daily basis. Very rarely is that the case.
Correct.
And so what Honda is doing is that we have brought the most affordable car today that you can get ADAS with, level 2. And this is why the top spec variant is the one we are saying do not buy, because that's what you get in the top spec. Effectively, you get slightly different design for the alloy wheels, the ADAS equipment, and one more thing, which is inconsequential. So basically, the ZX variant is the one that gets ADAS. Now they're saying this is Honda values, this is our goal globally, and that Honda sensing is what they call the ADAS pack, should be available with everything.
Honda sensing.
Honda sensing.
I wonder how much thought went into that naming convention.
Okay, so Honda sensing comes with the Amaze, and that's
you see that sentence? This is the problem with names like this. The Honda sensing comes with the Amaze. Sounds almost like a data privacy violation in progress.
And that's a great point. And the reason why ADAS, connected car tech, is all, I mean, aside from using it to start your car to cool the cabin down, I have not heard of anybody use connected car tech on a regular basis. And what is happening in the US with this tech, we've discussed this before, is that your data is being sold to a third party. There, it's already happened. That it's being sold to a third party. Users are not aware of it. And in the US, where insurance policies and all are dynamic, right?
It depends on how you drive and what your record is.
And what your
record. And your car is basically revealing your record constantly.
Yeah. And people have gone out of insurance because they cannot be renewed. It's become so expensive for them. Because the data has gone somewhere, it's been interpreted somehow, and that's just it. You can't do anything.
Yeah, I'm just sensing that this is not currently an Indian issue. But we need to be aware of this issue. And with the ADAS, I just have one question. Did they recalibrate it for India? Does it work? Did you try it?
So the good thing about the ADAS, the Honda ADAS and Toyota, these are the two systems which I have found to be the closest to being not annoying.
Okay.
Actually, they're not annoying. I did not switch off the system on the Amaze, both the cars that I drove throughout the day. And I drove over 200 kilometers with the cars.
Sure.
And I, at one point when I started driving, I hadn't switched it off. I started driving and I was like, is it even on?
Oh, nice.
So that's the good thing about both the systems.
So if you sense that you couldn't tell that the Honda sensing was on or not, I think that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's interventions, how it intervenes. So so these are by way of audio alerts, visual alerts, everything that you're getting. When it comes in to warn you about stuff, all of it is so well calibrated that half the time when you would get alerts in other cars, it doesn't happen here. It's only in few instances where it's like, now really do pay attention, then it kicks in. And of course, you can customize these things. But that was the good part about the ADAS. And I'll say this again, the Honda and Toyota systems are the ones that feel the easiest to live with even when they're switched on. But this is it. And why is it important to talk about it here now when the most affordable car in India with ADAS is the communication point? You might think this is an option you need. And we've heard of so many instances now where a dealership has delivered a car to somebody with ADAS tech and the buyer has just said basically, I'm going for the top spec variant. He is not even aware of ADAS in the car. There are communications coming through like, why does the steering feel so heavy when I want to turn?
Correct. The key thing we have to remember about safety systems is the key thing is at the beginning they have to be invisible. If they can stay invisible until they need to intervene, they are usually trustworthy and reliable. It's when they break that expectation that you start to have issues. So imagine riding a motorcycle or driving a car where the ABS is just hyper reactive. You won't have fun with it because every time you think, oh, there's enough place to brake, the ABS system will come in and try to intervene on your behalf and there's no intervention required. The problem with bad calibrations on ADAS systems is they produce, for example, a collision warning and emergency braking, but there's no need for it. Nobody around you is expecting it. You are not expecting it. And now you're afraid of that system saying, I don't know when it will do something weird again. So what we are looking for and why Kartikeya keeps saying we just switch off ADAS system most of the time is because we don't want these emergency interventions to be the norm. We want these systems, as he's saying for the Honda sensing thing, we want them to stay in the background until you see a couple of instances where it wakes up at what you think is the right time for it to wake up and give you a warning. And you say, okay, now I can trust this system. And that's the gap that we're talking about.
Quite simply, the day a manufacturer gets up and says, I take responsibility for anything that happens with an ADAS system. Okay.
Yeah.
Until then, any incident that happens, that's your responsibility. Any damage that happens, that's your expense. And there was a very interesting comment somewhere.
Automated damage acquisition system.
That's a good one.
That's a bad calibration. A bad calibration is an automated damage acquisition system.
So the other day, somebody commented somewhere saying that, oh, ADAS is so awesome. It saved my family, etc., etc. Okay, it prevented a collision from happening. And what was the instance? My family member fell asleep at the wheel. And so then the car braked instead of hitting an object. This is what we keep talking about. If you're going to standardize and normalize that, yeah, now I can screw up and I can be more lax behind the wheel and the system is there to help me, God help all of us.
Yeah.
That is absolutely not okay. If you're that tired that you're going to fall asleep, please pull over. Today, we are not in a society where we can afford to do things like that.
Don't get upset. This is why the GPCC is very, very much against autonomous cars. Autonomous cars will not help the GPCC process.
And anyways, it can happen, I understand. But through these tools, through these assists, we will start normalizing incidents like this, or the fact that you can get away with them will encourage you to do more things like this, which is absolutely not on.
If you really enjoyed this clip, there's not much that you can do because it's over, but this clip is from a much longer video which plays on our main channel, which is called MotorInc. I invite you now to visit there and explore this idea in more detail. And there you'll meet another amazing MotorInc personality, my great friend Kartikeya, the one and only.